Barack Hussein Obama. Please have several seats, sir, or whatever pronoun you prefer. You've already served your 2 terms, and apparently it's hard for you to come to terms with the fact that you are no longer relevant. But you are no longer relevant. You were the biggest hoax that the elites pulled on this country, because we thought that by electing you as the first Black president, although according to history, you are not the first Black president of this country, but in our lifetime, we thought that by electing the first Black president, that we were fulfilling the Martin Luther King, I have a dream, we shall overcome agenda, when we were actually undergoing a different agenda. You pushed your LGBTQIA LMNOP agenda across the globe, okay? You won the Nobel Peace Prize after several wars were started under your administration. And before any of you Blacks come on my page talking about how I'm a sellout because I'm not going along with someone that's similar to my skin tone, there was a leader in Africa by the name of Muammar Gaddafi that was working on behalf of Africa and that did a lot for the African people, and even reportedly offered $1 billion some years ago to the Nation of Islam to help Black people in our country, but our government would not allow them to receive the money because, of course, they don't give a damn about us. So this leader that did a lot for Black people and across the globe was assassinated under or during the Obama administration, okay? Also, Obama was what's called the deporter in chief. He deported millions of illegal immigrants, although the media doesn't like to bring that up. They only like to dwell on Trump. And he reportedly was behind the cages that those kids were in. Okay? We also remember how he tried to penalize us if we didn't get medical insurance, although they were giving illegal immigrants free medical insurance. So y'all can miss me with this, oh, because you Black, I need to think and be for you. No, skin folks does not mean kinfolk, for the final time. And here recently, Obama was on videotape telling Democrats that they needed to get tougher. Okay, you tried to effeminize everything with your policy, sir. Do you want them to be tough or do you want them to be feminine? Make up your mind. And then told them to stop whining when you all were about to put a wino in office if you could have got away with it. Didn't even hold a primary, but was about to put a wino in office. So I would just say by now, Mr. Obama, you need to just go somewhere, please. Go somewhere over the rainbow.
That's hilarious. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise. Hey, we got to check a couple clips out because Barack Obama, once again, has put his foot in his mouth. You know, there's a lot of folks out there. There's a lot of Black folks out there that believe that, you know, Barack Obama was the Messiah. In my opinion, he's hands down one of the worst presidents in U.S. history, and he is the ultimate psyop. They used this man to push a very wicked agenda. A very wicked agenda. And no one ever wants to give him the credit that is due to him for putting us in the position that we find ourselves in today. You know, all the racial unrest came because of Barack Obama. You know, healthcare is through the roof because Barack Obama. We can go down the list of the issues, the Smith-Mundt Act, all this propaganda that we see from mainstream media. Barack Obama, his hands, his fingers are all in the midst of that. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We got a couple clips to check out. Let's go.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
Mm-hmm. One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that
Well,
to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Black people, this is your president talking about young boys need a gay man in their life as a mentor. What are we talking about at this point? Seriously. Where are we at in 2025 that the former president, the Black Messiah, can come out on a platform and say, hey, your son needs a gay male as a mentor? I mean, everybody talked about this guy, as being the first gay president because he lit the White House, rainbow colored. And, obviously he implemented gay marriage and things of that nature. He was more pro-gay than he was pro anything else. And that's his business. But black people, are y'all ready to wake up and realize that this person, this individual right here is and was and has been and probably always will be the ultimate psyop? The ultimate psyop. They use this particular guy to push a plethora of agendas that has really been detrimental not only to Black Americans, but to all Americans across the country. Woo! But hey, again, I'm a firm believer that if you let people talk long enough, they will show you exactly who they are.
Now, I just be dipped in shit and rolled in breadcrumbs because I know well I just didn't hear Obama say what the fuck I heard him say. Now, I'm glad Mr. and Mr. Obama is taking time out and spending
said Mr. and Mr.
spending time and doing the podcast together and shit. But I just know I didn't hear Mr. Obama Sr. say what he said. This man had the audacity to say that he believed young men would be a lot better if they had a prideful man in their life. If you know what I mean by prideful, that's just me trying not to get community guidelines. He said a lot of these young men need a prideful man in their lives to expose them to other things that they might have not seen from a regular man.
You can't say gay on TikTok? I don't even think gay was derogatory.
A regular man like they daddy. So they need a prideful man in their life to show them the other side of the world. But what the f is Obama talking about? I'm so sick and tired of him. Your presidency is over. Sit down and stop trying to be relevant. We know what you like. We been knew what you like. We know about you and we know about Mr. and Mr. Obama. We know what you like. So why is you steady trying to force that shit down the throats of our Black American people? Like, what the f is you doing? You are so detrimental to the Black community, and a lot of Black people don't even see it.
Yep.
You steady trying to force that shit down our throat, talking about something. A lot of young men would benefit from having a relationship with a prideful man to show them the other side of the world that they missing, that they won't get from their daddy. Obama, please take 3 seats. Sit down. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of Mr. and Mr. Obama spewing their doctrines out to the world for the world to see. I don't want to. What the f you talking about? Sit the fuck down, Obama. Sit your ass down. Stop trying to be relevant. Stop trying to push that shit out into our culture. Like, y'all don't see this shit. Y'all love Obama, boy, but look at the shit he steady doing. He for the decline of the Black race. Because everything he talking about ain't increasing the Black race at all. Man, if you don't sit your ass down, my sons don't need a prideful man in their life. They got a father, a strong Black man.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the other thing that was crazy. It was like even outside the fathers. Now, when 77% of Black children are born out of wedlock to a single mother, right? 77%. And you're saying that they don't need a father. And those that do have a father, they need more than their Black father. This is crazy. But this actually shows you exactly who this guy is and what he's about. Ultimate psyop. I'm convinced. Barack Obama, planned. I am convinced. Planned. Yeah, he was a president. Yeah, he was there for 8 years. He got 2 terms. But you want to talk about a plant in politics in America, Barack Obama's definitely that. He is definitely that. And I know there's a lot of older black folks that's going to be in the comments. They're going to be upset because you can't say nothing negative about their messiah, Barack Hussein Obama. But I'm here to tell you, that dude, he has been a net negative for the United States of America. Net negative.
So I'm pregnant with a boy, my first child, my son, the light of my life. And when I think about what my son is going to need in order to be great, I don't think, my son is really going to need a gay man. That's what my son needs, is a gay man to make sure that he's great. It's very important to me that my son has his father first and foremost. It's important to me that my son sees his father and I love and respect one another, even if we're not romantically involved. Love and respect one another as people and as his parents. It's very important to me that my son has Christ in his heart. It's very important to me that my son is literate, that he has the ability to read and write and verbally communicate. It's very important to me that my son has access to play freely and play outside and run around. It's important to me that my son has access to high quality education. It's important to me that my son sees a reflection of himself around him that is positive, edifying, uplifting. It's important to me that my son has a healthy relationship with food. That's really important to me. It's important to me that my son has family around, people who he can trust, a village of his own. It's important to me that my son has a strong sense of self and the ability to articulate his thoughts and emotions. It's important to me that my son has a passport, a valid passport. I had my first passport at 18 months old. It's important to me that my son has math sense and he works well with numbers. Not one time have I thought my son needs to have a gay person in his life. Even hearing Barack Obama say it, that doesn't make sense. That's like saying my son needs to have a Mexican person in his life. My son needs to have a Jewish person in his life. No, he needs to have compassion, empathy, and understanding is what he needs to have.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I'm glad black folks are starting to wake up to the grift of the Obamas, both Mr. and Mr. Seriously, I'm glad that people are starting to wake up. This dude here, like I said earlier, man, he's been a net negative. Nothing positive come from these folks. You know it's wild when the daughter has decided that she's going to remove the Obama name from her so she can just get out here and live her life freely, although I don't know how that's going to work out. But when you have so many kids in the black community not in a household with their father, and for a former president to come out and say that, oh, they don't need the father, or in place of the father, or in addition to the father, oh yeah, you need to add in a gay man to the mentorship and the upbringing and the rearing of said young boy. What the heck is going on here, man? Seriously. I want to see more and more folks come out, not just black people, but people across the country come out and say, bruh, take a 2, 3, 4 seats, go somewhere with your hundreds of millions of dollars and go do you. Seriously. Quit trying to tell us what we need to do. We don't want to hear from you anymore. We're done. We don't want to hear from you anymore. And I've been saying this for a long time. Yes, Barack Obama, technically considered black man, first black president in the United States, although history would state otherwise. I'm not going to get into that today, but go do your own research. This dude got in the office and did absolutely nothing. Seriously. A lot of the issues that we have stem from the Obama administration. I'm just saying.
Boys need gay men in their lives. What the fuck is he talking about? The word need is a strong word, bro. I'm just trying to understand, like, why would Barack Obama say that? Like, what was the point of even saying that? He knows that's not true. No one wants to be forced onto anybody. Gay people don't want to be forced onto nobody. Hi, I'm gay. I need to be in your life. No. Hi, I'm black. You're white. I need to be in your life. No, that's what? No, you don't. We can talk and be friends and I can see if I like you, but there's no need for any of that shit. The fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, with Barack Obama, it's like that rule, you're cool till you're not cool no more. And right now, Barack Obama is on his uncool arc. His character arc, he's on the uncool character arc right now. It's fucking crazy. Motherfuckers is out here really just trying to push anti-masculinity. Like, they want every man to just be a feminine product. It's why? A very feminine man, he's not going to go to war.
That's why.
He ain't dying for nobody. He'll be like, fuck that shit. I need to go get my nails done. He's not going to do any of that shit. He's not going to go to war. Masculine men are the one who built this goddamn society. They built America. They go to war and they die in a ditch. I don't understand this massive push to end masculinity in America, in the Western society. Why? I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, the reason is why is because they want to change America. They want to get rid of the Constitution. They want to get rid of real men. And they want to replace real men with effeminate men and single mamas and single women who don't have the power, the strength, nor the will to fight what the WEF, and what the globalist agenda wants to push on America. We're the last bastion of hope. We're the last bastion of hope. Seriously. We are. There's a few other nations out there, but as far as the superpowers, the big countries, it's us right over here. And if the strong men of this nation bend the knee to these people, we're going to be in trouble. There is no telling what type of nation your children will be in. If strong men, especially Christian men, those of us believers in the Word of God, those of us followers of Christ who really believe that the Word of God or the Bible is the true living Word of God, and we believe in those principles, we are a threat to the agenda that the globalists have. Because what we do know is that single women, those that are a part of the alphabet community, they're easily manipulated, easily controlled, easily taken over. It's the strong men and it's the Christian man that is keeping this thing afloat. As soon as we die out or as soon as we bend the knee, it's a wrap for America. It is a wrap. And all the people that are saying we got to get rid of the patriarchy and we don't need Christian men and we don't need this, when they get what will come from what they think that they don't need or don't want, they will be begging for men like myself and so many others out there. I'm just saying. It's the truth.
Don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
Obama repealed the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which then permitted propaganda to be in broadcasting.
You have been subjected to the most massive, harmonized, globally coordinated propaganda campaign in the history of the Western world, full stop. With this campaign, the governments of many Western nation states have turned military-grade psychological operations strategies, tactics, technologies, and capabilities developed for modern military combat against their own citizens. Welcome to fifth-generation warfare. The battlefield is your...
Earlier this week, we were alerted to a potential vulnerability in our DoD computer systems, and we've been checking into it ever since. It turns out that some tech companies have been using cheap Chinese labor to assist with DoD cloud services. This is obviously unacceptable, especially in today's digital threat environment. Now, this was a legacy system created over a decade ago during the Obama administration. But we have to ensure the digital systems that we use here at the Defense Department are ironclad and impenetrable. And that's why today I'm announcing that China will no longer have any involvement whatsoever in our cloud services, effective immediately. And at my direction, the department will also initiate, as fast as we can, a 2-week review or faster to make sure that what we uncovered isn't happening anywhere else across the DoD. We will continue to monitor and counter all threats to our military infrastructure and online networks. And I want to thank all those Americans out there in the media and elsewhere who raised this issue to our attention so we could address it. And that's why we're talking to you today. As the president would say, thank you for your attention to this matter, and God bless our warfighters. I'm going to sign that memo right now, initiating that review.
It needs to happen, man. America first, and we got to put a focus on protecting Americans in our agenda.
Are you familiar with the Smith-Mont Act?
Is that the 2011, 2012 thing where Obama allowed people to use propaganda against United States citizens?
Yeah, that was what was done then under Obama was the effective repeal of it. It was called the Smith-Mont Modernization Act. But the modernization got rid of the whole purpose of it, the firewall, because at the time the media and media control was seen as the linchpin crux of winning the Cold War, piping in pro-U.S. Media influence because everything moved after World War II from kinetic warfare and military occupation. We used to militarily occupy the Philippines, for example, after we won the Spanish-American War, but that was banned under international law. Territorial acquisition by military force in 1948. So we had to win elections, and we had to influence the passage of laws in foreign countries by having an apparatus inside those countries that influenced the hearts and minds of people, which influenced who they voted for, which then determined the government. So you had to move towards political vassalage rather than military occupation. And what the Smith-Mont Act did is, simultaneous with the creation of this in 1948, Congress recognized the Frankensteinian monster they were creating by authorizing a covert, permanent Department of Dirty Tricks, and this is their phrase, not mine, to do this cloak and dagger, to infiltrate and co-opt the universities, the unions, the media, the politicians, the judges, the whole swarm army. What I have been calling for a long time the USAID Truman Show, because it's these people in these foreign countries have no idea how many of the things they interact with that are effectively a movie set being constructed by the U.S. State Department and its sister influence orgs. But the point that I'm getting at here is the Smith-Mont Act in 1948 said, okay, you guys can do this. State Department can do this. CIA can do this. USAID, when it came along 13 years later, could do this. But so there was a guy named Frank Wisner who was known as one of the godfather figures of the CIA. He's known for creating what was called the Wisner's Wurlitzer, which was it's like a church organ, and that he would brag that he could play the international media like a symphony to make any media narrative go viral in any country on earth because of the suite of CIA proprietary media functions and its distribution network, especially when the U.S. had first mover advantage in radio and print. It's basically the U.S. and U.K. were the only games in town, really, in having robust radio, film, TV, and print media. So the Smith-Mont said, okay, you can do that abroad. You can plant fake news stories in France. You can, have propaganda blare into Africa or Western Europe or Central Asia, but that can't come home. You can't psyop our own people with your propaganda organ abroad, because the whole point of authorizing this is that we get cheaper gas, we get import-export markets, we get a high standard of living, because if a foreign government doesn't want to give up its resources or allow a U.S. military base or allow joint partnerships or exports of goods or U.S. multinational corporations to operate there, then the American people suffer economically. So it was always designed to say, listen, you can do this dirty stuff abroad, but it can't come home. And even that protection, which lasted for 70 years, and we only lost it a decade ago. We're up against a much actually deeper, darker problem with this USAID scandal, and as people will see increasingly, the scandals that will break open at the Pentagon and the State Department, which is that we have a Smith-Mont problem for funding and operations. It's not just propaganda. The blob, our foreign policy establishment, can fund groups that effectively work with prosecutors domestically, or that work at media, dual use. We give them foreign grants to do media propaganda abroad, but they operate here. Or social media censorship, to coerce foreign countries to pass foreign censorship laws that explicitly and are intended to attack U.S. social media companies and in U.S. peer-to-peer speech. So we need that protection. If we're going to keep this function at all, we need a hard firewall and absolute grotesque penalties for any violation.
And these are the things that happened under Barack Obama's watch as president. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on all of this? What are your thoughts on, young men, here in America needing gay male tutelage in order to become, assets, productive citizens here in our nation? What are your thoughts on it? I find it highly ridiculous. We need more fathers. We need more dads, staying around, coaching, being there as mentors, being there on a day-to-day life, showing an example of getting up and going to work on a day-to-day basis. We need more of that. We're losing that. But then the president, former president that is, gets up there and says that, hey, oh, by the way, irregardless of what's going on in your house, whether you got dad or there or not, oh, you need a gay man. Hey, that's the best thing for you. That in itself tells you everything that you need to know about that particular individual. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your brother a coffee. Link in the description box below. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.